Yep. Good evening, everyone. So, previous session we discussed a basic thing about angular material. Angular material. Have you tried anything from here? I given some example. What I showed you is lazy loading. I uploaded the complete project zip file, complete project, whatever we learned up to now. Everything is there. Angular material is having two parts. One is components and CDK. So we discussed about CDK. I give an overview on CDK. In CDK, I showed you how virtual scrolling works, means lazy loading, how it is implemented. Now another one more example I will show you. So related to material components, how we can use material components. One, two components, if you can see, other components you can implement according to the requirements. You have to explore. Same like bootstraps, several will be there. You have to explore these components. So material components, let's see one example here is. So in the material components, we have the node here. What is the option in material component? When I given one example, right? Actually, this is the example. Okay, let's run this and see first. This is using some CDK, virtual scrolling it is using. We implemented virtual scrolling in that. Let's add one more component then. Or just implement here itself. I will delete this. I will show you one simple concept. We will see how we can differentiate between bootstrap. I will keep here bootstrap input, and we will use another one. Another one is how to handle material input. We have bootstrap input and material input. We have these two things. Okay. Bootstrap input is generally how it looks like. Let's see. I will put a div. In that, usually we will have a label. This label will have like username. Below the label, we will put a div. And here we have a text box. Input type is equal to text. Now, generally in Bootstrap, how the appearance is given. In Bootstrap, how that appearance is given. For that, what we do is, for labels, we apply a class. What is the class? We will apply a class called form label. This is a Bootstrap class that gives an appearance for label. That appearance is nothing but some gap will come between label and text box. For text box, what is the class? We will apply a class called form control. That is the class used for text box. That is the text box. Suppose I will give here class W100. This is the text box. And here I will give W25. So that just width is adjusted for that. And this is text box. Now in that, I am trying some placeholder. Placeholder, I'll say user name. So the placeholder is having some username like this. This is ordinary bootstrap. In bootstrap, this is what the appearance you can give for text box and a label. Let's see the same how material can do it. How material can do it. So, but in order to design such thing in material of Angular, you need to have complete knowledge on components what are required. Actually, material have so many components. In that we need a component to keep all these controls in one box. We need to know what is the component for text box. We need to know what is the component for label. We need to know how the text box and label are linked, what effects are given. All these we have to explore one by one. For that, you see here, you need to visit this website, material, Angular material. This is Angular material official, material.angular.io. In this, you have to go to components. In this components, you will find so many components are there. For every component, lot of dependencies will be there. Lot of dependencies will be there. One of the biggest headache here is if you miss a small dependency, that component will not work. And it is not having a perfect documentation also. Documentation means here, this help that you are watching is written by some developer like you. Then he may not mention everything. Some points may be missing. Obviously, several are missing actually. Then what happens, even in help also, you will not get a perfect help. Then your practical knowledge, your error tracking knowledge comes to picture here. You have to read the error carefully, understand the error, what problem occurred, search for relative content and implement. This problem you will face because these components are developed and they are left with some formal documentation. In that, every concept related help is not present. So you will face some issues. Then you have to manually implement them and handle. You have to check. How to check, I will show you. I will tell you the point. See, first, if you want some text box, you see they have form field. This form field is used for, we will learn some components here. In that we have a component called form field. Generally form field component. So it is just like a container. It is just like a container with a set of elements. That means you can say it is similar to field set. So it is similar to field set. In Bootstrap, there is a field set. In HTML, there is a field set. Field set contains a container with set of elements and some labels are defined. Actually, it is like a form field is like that. Now, how to use this form field? How to use this form field? First, you need to know what is the library required. That means I will give you some tips here, how to understand about component. First thing is visit this website. So material.angular.io, that is the official website. You have to go to components. So you have to go to components. Then you have to select any component. And first thing you have to do is go to API tab. You have to go to API tab. So for module dependency, for module and dependency, you have to go to API tab. That means for every component, they give one API tab. If you go to that API tab, in that they will mention for this component which library is required. And they will also mention with that library what dependencies will come. That all information is kept inside this API. To learn about any new component later, if a new version releases, you have to know this technique, this process you have to understand. See, let's go to this form field. This is the form field. Yeah, this is the form field. Let's go to form field. In the components, yeah. In the form field, you will find API category. First, you need to go to this API category. In API category, first you need to understand what is the module required. What is the module required? Mat form field module. Now, from where to import, it will show you. It will show you from where to import. Now, after importing this, what are the dependencies that come with this? That means what are the child options of this form field? You can see them in the right panel. That means when you import form field, these all will automatically come. That means mat label will come, mat error will come, mat hint will come, mat prefix and mat will come, and mat form field also there. These are the dependencies. That means if you want to use a material label, then do you import any module? Not required, because form field module already giving it. Understood? That means for every component, you don't need a module. Some modules are already imported along with others. That dependencies you have to check once. Which module, what dependency it is giving. You have to clearly get that information. Now, we will import this form field module and see. Let's see, we will import this form field module. Actually, form field module is nothing but this container. Understood? Means I used this container. I used this container. This container is same as form field. In material, that container they are giving as form field. In general HTML bootstrap, we use a div. For the div, we will put some margins, classes we will apply. But here we will use form fields. That means first we cannot use directly form field. Go to app module. We have to import a module. What is the module? Mat form field module. And we need to use this module. How to use the module? So here we have to define what is it? Mat form field module. We need to specify this. Okay. Now how to use it in your page? How to use it in your page? To use it in your page, for every component, there will be a selector. We used our own components also now. That means app register, app login. Like that, majority of material components selector will be like this. What is it? Mat hyphen form field. That is the selector. This is mat form field. Now, inside the mat form field, we can have a label. And you can see there is a mat. So here we have a mat label. We can use a mat label. This mat label can have some username. So username. We can have label like that. After that, I am giving a text box. Input type is equal to what? Text. This is the option we designed. Observe, still it is not finished. A lot of work is there. So here you can see now in the design, it looks like this. It is just having that option here. Empty, it is empty text box. Nothing is there because it is still not finished. A lot of points are there. Actually, this is the form field and this is the label and this is the text box. Now the question is how to present a text box in a material. Actually, for that there is a component. So you see that component is mat input. Where is that mat input? Yeah, this is input. Input is for text box, password box, all for all of them, input is there. And observe here, it is again having a separate module. So that means we have to use this module, mat input module. And you see now we need to import another module. So here I am importing another module. So import. So it is a mat input module. Input module. So from where at the net Angular, it will be Angular slash material slash. In that material, it will be input. That is the mat input module. And we are defining that module here, form field module, another one, mat input module. This is also added. Okay. After adding this input module, we have to apply this to this text box. So this text box should work as material input. So then generally Bootstrap is applied using class. Here we have to apply as an attribute as mat input. It is defined as mat input. That means now you can see its appearance. Actually, it will be like this now. Observe interesting part here. Label is on that text and you click inside it, then it will be like this. That's good. It looks great. This is different, but concept is same. That means, so here it looks different. I suppose here I am defining, so some placeholder I am giving here, placeholder. In the placeholder I am giving enter username, right? Like this I am defining. That means there will be like this. I click inside, then label will go up and it will ask enter username. So our Bootstrap is different. This material is different. Different means it have good animations, good effects, right? Everybody may not need like that, but this is good. That looks good. Functionality, no change. Suppose if I want to collect what they entered in the text box and display, no change. ng model, username, again, all techniques are same, no change. That means text box is text box. What material is doing only appearance, it is giving in a better way. So material components will give a better interface and a better performance. Performance that is not directly using CDK. CDK you saw performance. And here it is not done. So many attributes will be there. So many attributes will be there. For example, actually for form field, I haven't given any attributes. Form field have different styles again. You can see here, let's go to the material, go to the form field. So in the form field, if you want to know what are the properties available, then you go to API. In API, scroll down. In API, you will see these are the properties of form field. What are the properties? These are error. Where is the form field? Yeah, you can see this is form field properties. And observe, interestingly, all are input properties. Do you know why they are marked as input? You know that. Why they are marked as input? Because they are components. They will accept value from your component. Am I right? From your component, you pass a value into that component. That component have to collect the value and show na. That means in a label, you entered username. It have to collect the username that you entered from your component and it will show in its component. Then it should have a input property, obviously. Right? That means these all things we know already. And see, so many styles are there. See, there is an appearance. Appearance means now you understood here that there is a property called appearance. But what are the values for this appearance? What values we can pass into that appearance? How to know? By understanding what is the type it is. You see the type of appearance? Type of appearance is coming from which class? Mat form field appearance class. That means to know what values it can accept, you have to go to that class now. And you can see that class will be somewhere right side. Right side, that class will be available here. That means you see here, this is the mat form field appearance class is there, right? Now you need to go to that class and then it will show you appearance can be two types. What is the appearance types? It can be fill or it can be outline. It have appearance, fill or outline. You can see it is showing fill and outline. That means what you can do, now I can write here, there is an attribute. What is that property? That is an appearance property. What I can give? Fill. Appearance I can give fill. Only what values it is expecting, those only you can pass. So I will pass fill type. Then you can see its appearance is fill type like this. Fill type means a background gray shade came. That means you can see it looks like this now. That is a different appearance. What is another type we have? Outline type we are having. That means I will give instead of fill, what is that outline I am using. And you can see its appearance is an outline style. It will come like this. In outline style, when I click inside, it will go and display like this. This is a different style of the text box. That means there are so many appearances. There are so many appearances. You can add any appearance. That means these are animations actually. Remember, I told you browser animations module. If that module is missing, these animations will not work. Will not work. But output will work. That means border will come, text box will come, but sliding, animation, fading, these all will not come. So that is the reason they asked, do you want animations? Why they specially asked, do you want animations when you are adding material? Because without animations also we can use. Because using animations may delay the process in the loading. Because many times people want material without animations because animations may delay the process. And page becomes very complex. If user is using less connection speed, low connection speed, and user is not having advanced browsers, this will not work. That will cause problem. That is the reason they have a choice with animations, without animations, right? This is actually different style. Suppose I haven't given any appearance here, then it will be a traditional style. We are not giving any appearance. It is a traditional style. It looks like this, right? That is how we are adding. So I given an appearance for that, then it will be in this way. So how to implement? You have to go to API tab for module and dependence. You have to know which module it is. You have to know what are the dependencies. Now, another point is, so if you want to explore the properties, then switch to API. And one more important, if you want to know the property values, then track the property type class. You have to track the property type class. I will give some syntaxes here. What is that syntax so that you can understand how to track it actually. This is the mat form field appearance. Previous page, yeah. Actually, in this what we have is material form field. In this material form field, we have to know what are the properties available. API. In the API, this is the property I will give. Yeah. Just this property I will give first, just to make you understand. That means input appearance is mat form field appearance. And the values are present in which class? The values are present in which class? Mat form field appearance. That means in that mat form field appearance, you have to explore it. Then you will get the appearance types. Appearance types like we have a fill. Appearance types we have like outline. Like this we can have some. This is all, remember, this is not something like you write notes and after 1 month you can follow this. Within 1 month it may change. Right? Because every new version have a different attributes, some new properties, some changes in the classes also. Classes also may change. Modules may change. So this is not something you can remember forever and implement in the same way. Right? You need to be continuous in touch with this. Version by version, changes will be there. Version by version, changes will be there. So you need to be careful in that. Okay. So this is just to make you understand, but I will give an example here. What is that example? First one, we have to go to the component here, app.module.ts. Here what I do, and this is example for form field and input. How to collect the value from them? Collecting value from them is nothing special here. Suppose you say, I put a heading here, hello. I want to collect what is entered inside the text box. You know what to do. What we have to do, name is what? Username, and we need ng model. So hash username. So username is equal to ng model. All these are same. Then you have to just give username dot value. That means even it is a material text box. It is a text box only, right? That means you entered name, it is same. Nothing changes. Your logic never changes. Everything same. Only the point is the control's appearance is different. Its behavior will be same. There is no change in that. Right? This is just the difference you need to know actually. So suppose I will copy this. In app module, we have to import this. These two we are importing. I will give this example. And we need to import those two. In imports you have to define. In imports you need these two. One is mat form field. Another one is mat input field. These are the two things you need to import. And second, next, we are just going to the component. Here, what is the component is material demo dot component dot html. There is nothing in the TS. In HTML, I just used this. I will copy and give you that code here. This is the code in the material component, right? That means you have to explore and see what are the options available. Now I will tell you some issues. Means how certain issues will be there, right? So a lot of technical issues will come. That is why it is not easy, right? The first qualification of software developer is he must be very good in copy pasting. That is the basic qualification. Very, very good in copy pasting. And it is not easy. Copy pasting is also not an easy thing, right? First, you must be very strong in your R&D research. You must be very strong in copying and pasting the content. You must be very strong in customizing. Customizing means where to change, what to change, what are the dependencies. These all you need to track, because sometimes the issues will come in such a way that you have to sit for 1-2 days to resolve, right? That means nobody is providing proper help. We will go to forums, ask the question, still they answer but not coming. So many issues will be there in real time. Why? Because nobody knows everything of that component, and there is no official complete documentation about it. In that case, lot of features you will see. Let's see. That means you will understand what I am talking about, right? Let's see. Let's do one thing. We will implement a calendar control in material, right? Let's see. To implement a calendar control, there is a calendar. Date picker is there. There is a date picker. This is date picker. You can see how it looks like. You can see it looks like this. This is date picker. Means they have preview how the date picker looks like. You can see that is the date picker actually. Now actually here form field is same, label is same, text box also same. Additionally, some calendar will come, user will click on it, it will pop up, user can select, right? Now what we will do is here, we will keep the same form field only. We'll keep the same form field. Mat label, we will keep it as departure. Okay. Text box, I will just keep as departure, right? I will keep that as departure. So this also departure, and here also departure dot value. This is okay. The departure dot value. So it is a ordinary text box here. Actually, it is having an ordinary text box, and I don't need the placeholder. For text boxes, what is the attribute we need to apply? Mat input. That is the attribute we need to apply, compulsory. Now you see here, this is the text box, departure is there. Now I want a calendar, right? I want a calendar. Now let's do one thing. So let's go to their official documentation, and you see here, it is asking choose date. And see the documentation means I told you, you have to go to API. In API, what is the module? Mat date picker module. So I selected this mat date picker module. Okay. And I will keep this in app module, mat date picker module, and import that mat date picker module here. In the modules, I will add that mat date picker module. Okay. Now how to use that module? You see here, mat date picker, here you can observe. This is the mat date picker module we imported. And if you want to use, let's go to overview. In the overview, this is the example. In the example, you click on this button to see the source. what is the code behind it. You can click that view code and you can see they give the code for that. In that already we used mat form field, already we used mat label, already we used input, and you see here there is a mat date picker toggle. Hint is nothing but just tip. We don't want any hint. Mat date picker toggle. Toggle is nothing but button. Button is a toggle button, right? So we will put that button, mat date picker toggle, and see now. I will go here and I will add that button. And where to add the button? So here in the text box, I am adding after the text box, mat date picker toggle. This is the button we are adding. There is a mat date picker toggle. Okay. According to their design only we are doing. And after that, there is a date picker. Am I right? Date picker. So that means we will add mat date picker. Mat date picker I am adding. That means toggle is a button. Date picker is a calendar. On the button click, calendar should open. Am I right? That means on this button click, this calendar should open. That means there must be some connection between them. There must be some connection between them. And you see they have a connection. What is it? Its picker ID is what? Hash picker. And for picker means this button is going to work for this picker. Understood? That button is going to work for this picker. Actually, Bootstrap uses data BS target, data BS toggle. If you know Bootstrap, if you have an idea of Bootstrap, they use data BS target. Target means it refers to ID. Data BS toggle, it refers to which component to open and close. That is actually Bootstrap. Here what we do, let's see what is the ID. Hash. ID is suppose picker. You can give any ID. I will use that picker, and it toggle should work for. It should work for whom? It should work for picker. We are defining like this. Okay. Now some more important point is there. Whatever you selected in this date picker, it should be stored in this text box. Na? It should be stored in the text box. There must be connection between the text box and that also. What do you say? Am I right? There must be some connection between this date picker and text box, because whatever date you select here, it must be stored here. Then how do we define that? How do we define that? Let's see. You see here, it is using mat date picker. It is collecting the value from that picker. That means there is a property called mat date picker. So what we have to do? We have to apply that property to this text box. What is it? Mat date picker. It will come from picker. That means whatever you selected in the date. Now here you can see whatever they mentioned we implemented. One more option is mat icon suffix, mat icon prefix. There are properties. That means where you want this toggler button. This button should be right side of text box or left side of text box. You can decide where you want. Actually for that they have provided an option. What is it? Mat, what is it? Suffix and prefix. Right? What is that point we given? Mat icon suffix. Yeah. Mat icon, and what is it? Suffix and suffix. I hope for that we need a separate module, right? We need mat suffix module. Let's see. Mat icon suffix. So I will use here mat icon suffix means it will show error only, because let's go to the API now. Okay. In the API, let's see mat icon suffix or prefix, anything is there? Anything is mentioned about mat icon prefix and suffix? There are no options mentioned there. That means in the help directives, there is no option here. We will see in the icon. This is not icon, mat. Okay, we will just use here mat suffix. I am just using mat suffix. Okay, that is available. Now you see here, I will go into the design. There is some error. Total control is not there. Okay, let's track the error. What is the error? Right click, inspect, and let's go to the console. And you can see there is an error saying that mat date picker have no provider. What does this means? No provider means what? No provider means there is some dependency missing. Understood? Provider is locating dependency. We learned service, right? In service, what is the role of provider? It is locating the dependency. And injector is injecting the dependency. Now it is unable to find a dependency. What is that dependency? It is saying that dependency for date adapter. Date adapter. And it is saying that your application root must have a mat native date module. Mat native date module. Observe carefully in their official documentation. In this API, they haven't mentioned anywhere about it. That, see, in API, which module they given? Only one module, na? One module. But they are saying that, and you can see here in the dependencies, there are directives, na? Here there is no information about mat native date module. Understood? There is no information about it. You scroll down at the end of the concept, at the end here, you can find here, you can see this is the end. So I scrolled up to end, but nothing is there. Let's go to overview. In the overview, they give information about it. Scroll end to the overview. End to the overview. Here, in the end of overview, they given some troubleshooting. In the troubleshooting, they mention that if you get any problem like this, then you have to import. You have to import. That means you can get error like this. Then you have to import this module. They mentioned that. Why they have to tell this in error? Directly they should have told that in the module itself. Na? That means they are expecting that you should commit error and come back here. Huh? Right? So documentations are not satisfying every time. Because of course it is impossible. Why impossible? Because how much documentation they have to prepare. Because it is open source. Every month it is changing. Who will be sitting and writing all the documentation for you? Right? That means even you can contribute to this. Because Angular is an open source community, you can go to their official GitHub. You can see this is official GitHub. Huh? You can go to their official GitHub and you can post your documentation. They will review it. And if they see that it is good, then they will put your documentation into that. And they will give that credit to you, saying that this documentation contributed by this person. Because it's an open source one. So these kind of issues are very common. These are very complicated. Sometimes Now it is better from Angular 14 onwards, because before Angular 14, because it is not having good error handling, it is not showing the suggestion earlier. Earlier it shows only one error. Error says that there is no provider for date adapter. It will not tell that you need a native date module. In previous versions, now it looks better, little better. Now it says that you need this. Okay, let's use this now. That means what we are doing, we have to go to app module. We have to import another one. Another one we have to import. What to import? You understood now what to import? They have given an option. What to import? Mat native date module. From which library? Let's go to their documentation. They are saying that if you got this problem, then you import into this one. From which library to import? There must be some library, na? From which library? That is not mentioned. That is not mentioned. That is not mentioned at all. Then how do you know from which library to import? That means we don't know where this is present now. Now I need to search for this class. Am I right? I need to search for that class, where that class is present. Right? Now let's see here. Here I am scrolling down. You can see in troubleshooting this option came. Date picker not found. So no provider. Here it came. And see they say that see for more information, go here. We will click there. It is going here. And you see what is the module required? Mat native date module, and it is required from this library. That means its library is completely different. It is not related to date. You have to import from Angular Material Core. These all we have to track. This is not something like somebody teaches you and you will learn it. Because in the next version, it will be different. Its new properties, its new dependencies will be changing. Then nobody can continuously give you training on every change. You have to adapt yourself to the changes. You need to explore, right? That means now you know what to import here. What to import? Import mat native date module from Angular core, and make sure that that is defined here. What is it? Mat native date module from Angular core. Now you will see here. Let's refresh the page and see. And in the date picker, it is there now. And you see they have given this one. I click on toggle, it will open. I select, it will display there. And the date is shown here now. You know, date is not displayed in a clean form. We have departure.value. We have a pipe na, date pipe. We will use the date pipe. We know already how to display date in a convenient format. And you see here, so I am selecting that and it is displaying. And very important point here is, here one more concept I used in my own way without using in its way. Because you have observed the documentation example. Have you seen that example? This is the overview. Yeah. Have you seen this example? In this example, they given a mat icon suffix. I used only mat suffix. Am I right? That means now I will do here. What is it? Mat icon suffix. I am writing that mat icon suffix here. You can see I am writing a mat icon suffix and it is not working. That means it is not coming to suffix. Right? I given exactly how they given. But actually mat suffix is a option of text box. You can directly form field. You can directly use it. This mat icon suffix again requires another third party, another library. If you import that library, that will work. Now, how do we know that library? That means they just given a simple overview, and you see mat icon suffix is never mentioned. You see the TS code. In the TS code, they will give you only component code, nothing else. Right? They will not give you in app module what you have to import. What you have to import. Everything you have to explore by yourself. That means you can see it is saying mat icon suffix. But that mat icon suffix is another library. So we have to import that library and use it. But we know that already form field having a mat suffix, mat prefix. That is the reason I used it. So what I used, mat suffix. Mat suffix, then you can see it will display in this way. That means it will display the suffix in this way. We can also use like mat prefix. We can use mat prefix. I can use mat prefix. Mat prefix, it will keep that icon left side. Right? We can change. So into mat prefix or mat suffix like this, we can change. These are all the issues. That means it's not simple to handle everything. Right? That means the components are very complex and lot of research is required. That is the reason it is not easy for a developer to simply implement components. Right? And now these are just only Angular material components. I told you, if you remember Telerik are more complex. They are very huge. They have lot of features when compared to this. Right? They have different type of appearance. They have more abilities. That is the reason this is free. Telerik is not free. You have to purchase and use it. That means they provide a lot of service. A lot of features are provided. So this is one simple point I showed you to make you understand how to explore. That means you got an error. So then where to know about the error? That means in the overview, they might have mentioned. Remember, sometimes in the overview also, there will be no error. They will not mention error. Then what we have to do, we have to visit the official GitHub of Angular. We have to visit the official GitHub of Angular. There we have to read the error documentations. That means their bug fixing will be mentioned. For example, official, they have a GitHub. You see, this is official GitHub of Angular. This is GitHub. In this GitHub, you have to read all the documentation. You see, this is the GitHub. And in this, you have to read the documentation. You need to get the help. Because here, you see, lot of files will be there. These are all the files. Help documentation will be in readme.md. FAQs, MD. MD file means that is help file. That means you open that file, then they will give you more information. That means they are working. They are still working on some concepts. And you can see they will mention that they are working on these components. Currently, it is updated just a week back. That means they are doing some modifications into that. What we are working on now, currently they are working on some additional things. They are working on additional things. Right? This will be keep on updating. That means they are saying that designing and implementing CDK combo box. That means they are going to make some changes into this combo box. That means in the next release, there will be change in combo box. That is only this week update. In next week, some more may be coming. You need to keep in touch with this as a developer. If you want the latest thing to know and what is happening, And if you want to know where the changes are made, right, generally it is difficult for a trainer to deliver you all the new concepts, because first they have to learn all the concepts. They need to explore. For example, Angular 15 next version comes. Now everybody will put a banner, we will teach Angular 15. Right now the question is, who trained the trainer Angular 15? Who trained the trainer Angular 15? That so that he can teach you Angular 15. That means he need to do lot of research. Then, and remember, he can't misguide you, because you are all intelligent. So you keep on touching with internet, you know, you explore by yourself also. Am I right? That means they can't misguide you, and they have to train you on the new concept correctly. And they may get so many technical issues if they are first time delivering you a new version training. That is because in their research, when they do research on new concepts, if anything they are missing, that may go wrong when they are training to you. These are all practical issues in learning and dealing with a new version. Right? That means you need lot of patience, you need lot of research, you need to know correctly where to research. Some people don't know where to get information. Right? Some people don't know where to get that information, from where we can get the correct information. Just Googling will not get. You go Google and search for a problem, you will not get a correct solution. First you should know where you can get correct solution. That these are all the points you have to face while working with this kind of third party. I hope you are clear. Right? Now you try some other components. Okay. Example I will give you. This is example for which one? Calendar. For calendar, what we done? For calendar, I am using in app module, we have to import two things, right? One is mat date picker module. So this we need to import. You know, these two need to be imported. Mat date picker module, and another one is mat native date module. These two need to be imported. So these are in imports, and we need, so material demo dot component dot html. In the html I made some changes here. Yeah, this is the form field. This is enough. That is the option you need to do. That means you need to understand how to collect the value. Here another point is, what is the binding mechanism? How we can collect the value from component and display the value, how to send value into the component. This all you have to do. Now based on this, you try some other components there. You will see some other components, so you can try those components, right? Based on this concept. I hope you can try now, right? Yeah. This is all about how we can work with the Angular material. Next important, after understanding the material, another concept we will see about two things. We will see testing, deployment, and NGRX. NGRX, we will see testing and deployment, how it works, right? Actually, NGRX, again, version problem will be there. If you are installing into new version, issues will come. I will tell you how to solve that, because currently material also same. What we done, we installed which version of material? 14. Because our project is 14. NGRX also those issues will come. We will see first one basic thing again. Another important here, you need to understand Angular testing. I will show you testing, deployment, and NGRX, all these three. Because for NGRX, again, we need to check compatibility with version, right? Let's finish this point. Testing is nothing but, testing is a concept of, so what is difference between error handling and testing? Can you tell? Is testing is checking for errors? Huh? Is testing is the concept of checking for errors? What do you think? Is testing is checking for errors? Testing the functionality. So actually, what is difference is, means what is the point is simple. Actually, testing is the process. Testing is the process of verifying two basic things, as is and to be. That is testing. The process of verifying as is and to be. As is means what client wants, what you are designing, and what client wants. To be means what client wants. As is means what you have designed and what client wants. What you have designed is not matching with what client wants, then testing fails. That means testing is verifying what client wants and what you are designing. Is this matching or not? It is not whether the function is working or not. If function is not working, that means that is problem in your logic. Function is working, but output is not coming in the same way how he wants. That is testing. Understood? That means if function failed, test failed, no. Function failed means that is debugging failed. That means fixing the bugs. Actually, testing is verifying what you designed and what client wants, both are matching or not. That means as is refers to what? As is refers to what developer have designed. What developer have designed. That is as is. Then to be refers to what client wants. That means if as is matching with to be, that means what? Test pass. Right? If it is not matching, that means as is not matching with the to be. That means what? Test fail. That means our developer need to write in such a way that it should exactly return the same what client wants. Suppose you say, suppose I say 2 into 3. Right? 2 into 3. So, and it is returning 6. But client wants it to return 10. That means, is there an error in your code? There is no error in your code. Your code is working fine, doing multiplication fine and returning the result. There is no error. Then what failed here? What failed here? Nothing but the value which returned is not according to the requirement. Suppose you are divide, that means now what you have to do? You have to change this in such a way that it returns 10. So it returns 10. Then your test will pass. This is the concept of testing. That means actually in Angular means Angular inbuilt. So Angular inbuilt provides Jasmine framework, Jasmine Karma framework. It is a testing framework. Angular inbuilt provides a framework for testing called Jasmine Karma. It is already available with Angular. What is advantage of that? We can use this framework and we can test our functions. We can check whether they are matching with the client requirements or not. So it will provide built-in framework. Actually, other technologies have to install any separate frameworks like Jasmine, Karma, Protractor, or Just. Just is another framework used by various JavaScript technologies. We have Protractor and Jasmine, Karma. We have XUnit, JUnit, Java, .NET. Different technologies have different testing frameworks to use. It's not necessary that everybody have to follow the same. Different frameworks, different. But Angular inbuilt comes with this Jasmine Karma framework. So you have to just write the tests and you have to check. How do we write the tests? Actually, tests are defined in a spec file. That means usually spec file will have spec, am I right? Spec, .ts. You will have like spec.ts. All these days we were ignoring that file. That means all these days, whenever we generate a component, what we were doing, we were not generating test files. Ignore, skipped specs. Skip test means it will skip the test file. But now we will add a test file. So for a component, so that we can test every component. This is actually unit testing. Unit testing means each and every function that you write in a component, it can be tested. Right? For that, we need this spec file. And how do we do that? And very important is Jasmine provides various test methods. Actually, it will provide the test methods like describe, it will provide it, and it will provide expect. Describe, it, expect. And so many assertion related functions also will be there. Assert related functions also, related methods also provided. What is assert? I will tell you. Actually, testing every component, testing every method includes three phases. Testing every method includes three phases. First phase is arrange, second phase is act, and third phase is assert. In any technology, testing includes three phases: arranging, acting, and asserting. Arranging means you have to first tell what function you are going to test. Second, act means you have to tell what functionality you are going to test. Third, you have to assert. Assert means verify what is the test result came, what is the result of the method came, and what client wants. And you have to tell whether test pass or fail. That is called assertion. Assert is nothing but it is showing the result, test pass or fail. That is important. For example, see now how it is done. Actually, arrange is done by using describe. Describe is for arranging, it is for acting, and expect is for asserting. These are the three methods used basically for testing. Let's do one thing, simple actually, because remember, testing is a separate concept. Means first to learn testing, you need lot of scenarios to understand. That means how the test cases are written, test plans are prepared, all these things. That is not our job. That is just, I am giving an overview of how Angular developer will write the tests. That is basic. But even you may not get a chance of writing tests in any company. So until or unless you are very experienced and your job is in the testing part, right? Until or unless. So you are not going to write any tests in any project. Okay. So, but still just idea you need. So let's add one component here. So let's add one component. We will add a component in the components. Yeah. So in the components, ng generate component cart. I am adding a component called cart. Just I am defining cart. I am not using skip test now, because now the test file is generated. We added a component called cart, and in this cart component, the test file will be generated. Yeah. In this, the test file is also generated. Now you see there is a spec file. Test file is generated. Just what we will do now, we will go to the cart component TS file. In the TS file, we are writing some methods. Let me write some method like public. Okay, the method is, suppose title is a method, and the title method, what it should do. So this method is a string type method, and it should return some string. That means we will take here a simple MSG. It is a string type, and it should return that message. That is the function we return. I will write another method. This is total method. This total method is shop. This is, I will give cart title. Okay. Oh yeah. Here I will give total method. This total method is a number type. And what this method have to do is it should take quantity. So is number, and price. This is also number, and it should return a functionality that is quantity into price. This is the functionality. These are the functions we defined. Now we need to check whether these functions are returning the same result as expected by client. Then how do we write that? So we have to go to testing of this file is written in a test file. Go to the test file. Test file is spec.ts. This is test file. And in test file, already your component related testing environment is set. This is actually prepared by our testing team. The testing team will prepare the complete environment which is suitable for ready for testing your component. Here what we have to do, simple, we need to define, I will write here, cart title test. How to test the title? So I am using the method describe, and describe uses a message. Message is, this is title test. I will say cart title test, and it uses a callback function. In this callback function, this is one. Second one is, we will use another one, cart total test. We will test another one, cart total test. In this, what we are doing, describe, we are defining cart total. This is cart total test, and this uses a callback function. Now this is arranging. In this, we have to write it. What you want to test? Which method you want to test? I want to test the method called cart title. Then how to access? By using component dot cart title. And what is the value? The title is provided by you. What is the title value? Developer's value. What is the developer value? Developer value is Amazon shopping cart, like this. What is expected by client? You have to write here. So what is expected by client? That means to be. To be, that means it is using, yeah, this is, I will give one thing here. I will write like this. So it is, so it actually requires simple. In it, we will define a title. We will define a title. So that means I will say title must be Amazon cart. Understood? Title must be Amazon cart. Then we have to define a callback function. In this, we have to write expect. Expect what? We have to call component dot cart title. So this will be Amazon shopping cart. Shopping cart. This is the option. What is to be? To be, To be I am giving, it will be like to be number, to be string, to be boolean, to be truthy, to be falsy, like that. Suppose I am giving to be, what it should be? Amazon shopping cart. But the developers function have a spelling mistake. That means what developer written and what I want is having some problem. What is that problem? Spelling is not correct. Spelling is not correct. Okay, let's see whether it will spot it or not. Whether it will verify it or not, we will see that. So here I am writing another one. What is it? This is total test. So that means here total test we are using, cart total test. Here we will write total must be suppose some 25,000, like this I define. Or total must be some 10,000, like this I define. 10,000, like this I define. That is our requirement actually. So we will put a callback function. In that what we do, expect what? Component dot which method? Total. Into total we are passing quantity into price. Quantity is 2 and the price is 5,000. Now to be how much? To be what? 10,000. So that means this is satisfying. This is returning exactly what client wants, but the previous one is not returning exactly what client wants. That means now we have some problem. Actually, this is the test how we write. That means we need to write the test for every function. We have to write like this. In a component, whatever the functions you are writing, for every function, we need to write the tests in this way. Actually, for that, you have to learn the testing framework. Separate testing framework like Jasmine, Karma, you have to learn. Here we are just learning how to use the integrated part. Just I am showing you an example, sample. Now, after everything is ready, now let's start the test. How to check? You have to just run ng test. Ng test and which project? -- project is equal to shopping. Now it will test this shopping and it will launch a separate window, and in that it will show you what are the problems in your current project. Remember, there can be other problems also. Why? Because not only one component, we have a lot of components now. Some components we haven't added manually. Some component already there, like app component, which is already available. Now, what will happen is, if there is a problem in any of those components, it will report those problems. Currently, we are expecting one issue. What is that issue? The spelling is wrong. That spelling is not matching what we given. So it is launching that Jasmine Karma, like that is, you see, it launches the separate browser for us. In the browser, it will launch that framework, and you see it is showing some error. You can see some error. And what is the error actually? It found 6 specifications. But actually we have only 2 specifications we written. What are others? Let's see. Spec list. In the spec list, you see some app component, that is fine. Cart component, it failed. You can see here also failed. Right? That means 2 problems are there. Title failed. Another one is total failed. Why total failed? Some value. Let's go into this now. Yeah, total failed because I given one additional value, na? Right? It is expecting how much? 10,000 only, right? It is expecting 10,000 only. The total must be how much? So the total must be 10,000 only. Okay, that is the option I am defining. So the result is returning how much? 10,000, and to be also how much? 10,000. Then you can see I save this, and you can see in the test results. In the test results, you can see one failure now. This test is passed now because it is expecting 10,000. We passed that 10,000. Title must be Amazon cart. But what developer written? Let's go click there and see. When I click there, okay, leave, and you can see it will show the detail about that error. It will show the detail about error. It says that what you written is expecting this spelling, and what client wants is this. That means it will track the problem, it will identify the problem, and it will return the problem. That means now one failure is there in your component that is not returning exactly what expected. Okay, we'll do one thing now. What we will do, let's go and make the change. It should be spelling, change it to what? Cart. I will save that. Now again the test will run, and once the test runs, it will refresh automatically after that. We need to save this, right? Now you can see in this 0 failures. There are no failures because all the functions are returning exactly what the client wants. That means it is tracking the error and it is reporting the problem, where the problem occurred. That means we have to write these tests manually and we have to configure. If there is a problem in that, then it will report the issue. What testing framework will teach you is how to test the titles, how to test a string, how to test a number, how to test booleans. There are hundreds of testing methods. I just showed you one. That one method is to be, I showed you, right? Asserting functions are so many, right? This is just to make you having an idea on how a developer writes a basic test method, right? We are not learning any testing of Angular, right? That is just an idea to have, make you an idea on that. But you can still practice this. You can write functions, methods, you can check whether they are returning the correct result or not, right? This example I will give you, right? You just need to run some component. What do you have to do? Ng generate component. This time we added cart, no skip test now. Now what we need to do, we have to just go to spec.ts. In spec.ts, this is the logic. I pasted that logic. After that, what we have to do, ng test and project is equal to shopping. Then it will run and show where the problems are. It will report where the problems are, right? This is basically how the testing concept works. Now another point is deployment and ngrx. Deployment is how we can make it live. We can deploy on cloud servers different. I will give an overview of how the cloud deployment happens. And ngrx, we will do that. That we'll see in tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we will have session at 9 a.m. And tomorrow session will be online only. You don't need to come offline. Offline people, we will have session online. Everybody have online link, right? We will, no, I will share an online link to offline people, right? So in the classroom, I will post, right? You can log in with that. Okay. Tomorrow only online, and tomorrow we will finish the part. So we will discuss two basic, ngrx. Another one will be deployment, how the deployment works. Okay. After that finished, I will upload interview questions. I will upload resume format sample for how we can set up the resume for Angular and all. I will upload there. So, and the complete projects that we designed also I will upload again so that you can get all the content. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue then. Tomorrow will be only online, right? You can connect online. I will post the link tomorrow into the classroom. Okay. Right. Yeah, if anyone missed tomorrow's session, I will share a recorded video. Okay, no problem. I will share a recorded video. If you have any another class, then tomorrow session, if you miss, I will share a recorded video. Okay, right.